Hey everyone, the cook from Screaming Cat's Kitchen here. Today we're making something a little near and dear to my heart, something my dad used to make for me growing up. It's grilled peanut butter and cheese sandwiches with tomato soup. First thing we're going to get started on is sort of jump starting these tomatoes before we put them in the pots. I'm just going to get them on a parchment paper lined pan and put some olive oil, and then into the oven at 500. You could just slice these up and put them in the pots, but that will take longer. In addition, I'm taking a red bell pepper and adding that to our original tomato soup. I'm doing this two ways. I'm doing sort of more of what I grew up with, which is just regular tomato soup and peanut butter and cheese. And then I'm also doing this sort of a little spicier, a little different, you know, just trying it out, a coconut and red curry kind of take on it. We're going to slice up some shallots. Don't have to go too thin. These are going to sit in both pots and just simmer down and get soft until we add in our tomatoes. Then we're going to crush up and peel some garlic. We're going to start both of these pots off at medium heat, and we're going to add some butter into it. Then we'll add our shallots in, and then wait a little while before we put in our garlic through a mincer. Here in the bottom right will be our coconut and red curry, and the other one is in the top left is our original tomato soup. If the butter starts browning too much, you're going to need to turn down the heat. You don't want this to burn before you add the tomatoes in, as it will brown the color of the soup itself. I do have to turn down the temperature on both of these on the stovetop to sort of a medium-low, just to keep it going. First thing I'm going to add into the red curry one is cumin. Then our red Kashmiri chili powder. A little bit of ginger. Onion powder, and garlic powder. Adding oregano, and then garlic powder into the other one as well. Now this is getting a little too dry on the bottom of both of these, so I'm adding butter into both in order to ensure that we don't burn it. Just pay attention. You can see how dry it is on this one. And it's starting to sort of dry out and attach to the bottom of the pan. We don't want that. I'm just going to keep stirring this around until I see that our tomatoes are ready in the oven. We're not looking to necessarily brown these tomatoes or roast them. You can do that if you want, but I sort of want a cleaner look and taste. And then I'm going to take a masher and just break down these tomatoes. Because we put them in the oven, they've softened up quite nicely, and they will now sort of deglaze the bottom of the pan with the acidity from the tomatoes. Once we've got that all done, we're going to go ahead and slice up our bell pepper and then put that only into our original tomato soup. This will add some extra sweetness without adding extra sugar. And then I'm going to take the pan that I roasted it in and put all that olive oil into the original tomato soup. Should probably slice up your bell pepper before roasting and then do it instead of waiting till after. It was quite difficult. Just gonna get some green onions sliced up here while I wait for this to simmer for a bit. This is gonna go into our sandwiches. I simmer this for about 10 minutes, just trying to get rid of all of that raw tomato flavor. And here I'm just checking, stirring, making sure nothing's sticking to the bottom and burning. I'm gonna add some extra salt in here. Next I'm gonna add in my coconut milk and then give that a stir. I'm going to add in about another tablespoon and a half of butter to our original tomato soup. Both of these will add smoothness to the soup itself. I'm going to blend these up with an immersion blender, and then I'm going to give each of them a taste. And then I'm going to add in what I think it needs. This needed extra salt just to sort of give the flavor more punch, as well as cumin. I added some smoked paprika, as well as more red Kashmiri chili powder. That was for some extra spice. It's good to do it after you add the coconut milk in, because it's going to thin out a lot of the flavors as well. And then my secret ingredient, MSG, sort of helps bring everything together. And then I'm going to give this a good immersion blend. I gave it a taste, and because we didn't thin it out too much like we did with the other one, it didn't really need any more seasoning added to it. Gonna get out medium-sized cast iron and start heating that on a medium to low. We don't want the heat too high, as it will end up burning our bread from our sandwich before we're actually melting the cheese. I'm only doing a half sandwich of each. You can use as much or as little of the ingredients as you want in order to make these sandwiches, depending on your taste. First I'm putting in my green onion and then a little bit of sesame oil. You can use a lot or a little of that, depending on how much you like sesame oil, as well as sriracha and peanut butter. Then I'm just going to give this a good mix. And then start assembling our first spicy peanut butter and cheese sandwich. The reason I have the cast iron heating up right now is because it takes a long time to heat up, but the heat that it retains and is able to hold helps make grilled sandwiches like this. Oops, peanut butter got on the ground. Don't worry, I cleaned that up. Now we're gonna shred our cheese onto these sandwiches. Shredding the cheese helps it melt better when it's on the stovetop. As well, this is Colby Jack. I like it because of how it melts in these sandwiches. It's very good at creating that sort of pull texture that you want. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of butter here, and then just let that melt down and coat all the way around the pan. Once that's melted, we want to push down, and then I use a weight here, and this will help the bread maintain contact with that pan and get a nice toast on the bread, as well as sort of create more pressure in order for the cheese to melt. Setting a timer, anywhere between 2 and 2.5 minutes is what each side will need. I'm going to slice up some cucumber to go with this. 2.5 minutes has elapsed. And I flip it. Nice and toasty. You can already see the cheese is starting to melt. Then I'm going to put my weight back on top. And set my timer. Here I'm getting both of my soups ready while I wait. I've got some extra rice. And then I'm going to put my coconut red curry tomato soup on top of that. This could be a meal in and of itself if you wanted. And then just ladle in some original tomato soup into my other one. Just checking, see if it's done. Looks good. Here I'm gonna give it a try. Gonna dip this in the tomato soup. Just as good as I remember. Trying out the new one. First I'm gonna go for the sandwich by itself. And then give it a dip. This one's really good dipping. And there you have it. If you like this recipe, give a like, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
Yeah.